You're still on Joy 99.7 FM, and we've got lovely ladies in the studio, myself included. And of course, another one joining me this morning, Mrs. Margaret Takyi-Micah. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
It's good Doreen. To see you, looking beautiful in royal blue.
Good to see you too.
How's everything going?
Everything is great, especially now that I'm here.
Oh, well, now that you're here, my day is complete. Your day is complete. Last week, before you left us with a customer service tip. You said to allow the irate customer to vent.
Yes.
Do not interrupt them or start to speak until they have finished what they had to say. So that was what you left us with last week.
Yes.
I'm glad that I wrote it down so I will remember, right?
Great.
Yes, so we'll probably continue from there.
Yeah.
Before we get there, though, a couple of messages came through. So maybe I'll read some of the comments, and then maybe when we start talking about dealing with the irate customer, some of these things might come up.
Okay.
I received a text from Esther Aboyi. She says, customer service in Ghana, no, there's nothing like that. In many instances, the customer rather greets, and even that, most respond sluggishly. No thank you after a service delivery, and a whole lot. It's not a pleasant experience worth recalling at all.
And that is true, and that's why we say people must learn these tips.
Yes, we need to learn some of these things.
Yes.
And my prayer is that some of these people also probably not even listening. You know, they're probably watching some telenovela somewhere, so they're not even paying attention to the important things that are being said here. But all the same, it is our prayer. And we hope that one day very soon.
And somebody's passing it on to them.
I know, right? Gabi Opoku says, considering our societal orientation, is it right for a service person to hand you an item with the left hand whilst the right hand is not necessarily busy? That's his question.
I mean, it's not acceptable.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to know the environment in which you operate, and then not to offend your customers unnecessarily.
Right. Right. Isaac Awachi says, in Ghana, what we generally have is customer disservice. The customer rather has to serve because in their mind, they are the ones helping you. Pathetic, he says.
I agree with him.
It is pathetic. I agree too, Isaac. Thanks for sending it. Theophilus says, in Ghana, there's nothing like customer service. Oh. And Benjamin Ofori says, if you provoke a customer service personnel, he or she will blacklist your number. I'm a victim. My line has now been pushed to national security, meaning I can't sign up for any promotion. That's sad. You don't have to blacklist somebody simply because, you probably had an altercation with the person, and I'm sure that in so many cases the customer was right and the service person was wrong. Yakusi says, can somebody help me? If it is the policy of ECG to recruit arrogant and disrespectful ladies at their front desk as their front desk executives and cashiers.
I haven't experienced it, but I don't think it's anybody's policy to put arrogant and disrespectful people in the front line.
That's true.
But if they are actually doing that, it means somebody's not watching.
Yeah.
Or somebody's not measuring what they do.
Yeah, and somebody's not doing their work well.
Yes, because it means you can do whatever you like.
Right.
But you see, if you understand, what we said at the beginning, who the customer is, and the customer is the one who makes payday possible. Mm-hmm. So if these people actually see the customer in that perspective, they will not be rude or arrogant.
Right.
And it could also be that they are under pressure and don't know how to react.
Right.
And I think that's what brings us to our topic for today.
Yes. I think we should just go ahead. There are two other, the last but two questions actually. My question is who a customer is. Some are found wanting as to who the customer, because they don't know who the customer is. But we spoke about who the customer is in our previous edition. So maybe we'll just summarize before we talk about the irate customer. In Ghana, we don't have customer service. It's rather the customer who is doing the service. That's Kweku Cecil. And Nanayal finally says, what benefit do we get from customer service?
Yes. I mean, I like that question about what benefit do we get. I mean, if you get the customer and the customer is happy with you, you get repeat business.
Exactly. They
and repeat business will end up in your bottom line, which is your profits, and that's why you're in business. And so that is really the benefit of customer service.
Right.
And I wish that anybody who considers themselves a service provider, including those who wrote these comments, my question to them is, are you providing good service? wherever you find yourself.
Right.
And you remember last week we talked about the internal and external customer. Are you providing good service to your internal customer so that they can deliver on the promise? And I was imagining that if somebody in Joy FM went to a salesperson, met a customer, and closed the deal and made a promise, they would expect their internal customers to ensure that they can deliver on their promise.
Right.
And so internal customer service also impacts on what we do externally. Right. So if they are, and people sometimes think that customer service is a department, and that is not the case. Everybody whose business or whose job affects the customer is in customer service. Yeah. In other words, whether in the back office or wherever.
In the front office, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit more about the irate customer today. How do we handle an irate customer? You said last week that you just have to allow them to vent. Don't interrupt. Allow them to finish what they had to say before you say anything. Quite apart from that, how else are we expected to deal with irate customers?
So the allowing them to vent means that you should also be listening.
Right.
And listening means that you have to listen appropriately or actively using the appropriate words like I understand, I agree. No, that's horrible. Things that actually show that you are in tune with a customer. You don't listen and continue typing away or looking the other way.
Right.
Whilst listening also, you shouldn't be frowning or smiling. I mean, even though we said you should smile to the customer, certainly an irate customer will not appreciate your smile because they will think that you're not taking them seriously. You should let the customer know that whatever the issue is, you take them seriously. It is until you have listened that you would know whether they have an issue which is your fault or somebody else's.
Right.
Okay.
And basically, after we have listened carefully to this irate customer, they've had time to vent. Usually, like you said, we have to be using the right words. I do understand. I'm sorry about that. If there's anything I need to do, kindly let me know. So, what other things that we can do as forms of like encouragement, just so that the customer will know that at least you understand their problem and you're also making an effort to help them solve it.
Usually the customer wants you to take them seriously and they want to know that you can resolve the issue, and so it is even easier and faster when you ask the customer, what can I do to make it better?
Right.
Because when you ask them, then they will tell you what solution they want. It's either maybe it could be a refund, it could be a change of a product or something like that. You need to know what the customer will consider resolution. But before you get there, you have to empathize with the customer. We say walk in the customer's shoes, because if you were walking in their shoes, you would know why they feel the way they do. If for example you've bought an expensive phone and you woke up the following morning and found that it wasn't working, the first thing you think about it, wow, it cost me so much, and it must work. So that's the mindset that the customer is coming with. And so if you can tune in to that mindset, then you would say, oh no, this is one of our best phones and it shouldn't give you that problem. Let me have a look. The customer then knows you take them seriously. You're not going to say, are you sure you bought it from us?
No. Can I see your receipt first?
Can I see your receipt first? And no, this one is not from our shop. Even before you check it. So, I have a receipt to confirm. Right. So empathizing, we say walking the customer's moccasins. If you're walking in the person's shoes, you will feel the way they do. Yeah. And then you can respond appropriately.
Okay. All right, we'll leave it here so we don't crowd our listeners with too much information. Okay. And then, of course, we'd definitely like for you to leave us with a tip, just so next week when we come back, we can just recall and then we can move on.
The tip for today is apologize.
Apologize. Okay, apologies. Yes. Let me write it.
And, a simple word like I am sorry or I apologize.
Yeah,
and sorry. Sometimes people think that when you say I'm apologizing, that it means you are wrong.
Exactly.
But that is not so. you can even apologize for the way I'm feeling, even though you didn't cause it.
Exactly.
I mean, as I was driving in here and I had a flat tire, that had nothing to do with you.
Yeah, but I'm sure I'll say, oh, I'm so sorry about that.
Exactly.
You know, I wish that it would have been a better situation than what you went through. But
exactly.
I couldn't help it. But I just say sorry or empathize with you.
Yes.
That's right. That's true.
So
apologize. So we need to remember this. No matter the situation, you probably could be right as the customer service provider, but you just have to apologize.
Exactly.
Say sorry or apologize. All right. Mrs. Margaret Takyi-Micah has been helping us with our customer service tips for the past 3 weeks. She's the founder of the Nest of Ideas Consulting and Customer Service Academy. She provides skills to make people and businesses improve their services for profit. And you can give her a call. Maybe you can call her if you can't address some of your major questions at us here on the show. Of course, you can send us a text on 1422 or send us a WhatsApp on 0244 340437. But you can reach Mrs. Margaret Takyi-Micah directly on 050 440 4002. Am I right?
Exactly.
Okay, I'll
you.
repeat. Did you get a pen and paper? Write it. 050 440 4002. Easy, right? 050-440-4002. All right, I think people have it now.
Okay.
Thank you so very much for joining us, Auntie Margaret. I appreciate it. God bless you, and I hope to see you, God willing, next week.
God bless you.
And
have
you.
a terrific week.
You do same, ma'am. Thanks a lot.